Painting with Layers using Brushes app and Sketchbook Express. Both are free. The Brushes app is a really good one for all kinds of digital painting. When you first open it up, you get to create what size and orientation of a canvas you would like to paint on. And then along the bottom are all of your tools. One of the main ones is your brush tool, which when you first open it up, there'll be a few on there, but you can always add more by hitting the plus sign that's up at the top. And you can customize it using the 3 little dashes on the right side of each brush. Once you've selected the brush you want, then you can select the color. Use the slider and the wheel to slide around and select just the right color. You can even save some of those into the little palette below so you can get to them again when you want to use that same thing. Once you've selected your color, then the layers come into play. Your first layer would be, on this example, we're going to create a background. So we're going to use a color that is a light color, because this example is a monochromatic landscape, to color in the layer that's farthest back in the sky. Then you can choose another layer. Use the plus sign to add a layer, and make sure that the blue around it is selected, so you can select the current layer that you're on. You can change the brush type, or keep it the same, whatever you like, and then go ahead and paint on that layer. You can use the slider at the bottom to increase your brush size. And then on the second layer, you can paint along it, do what you'd like, change it as much as you like, erase it, do the back button. Work on that layer as much as you want, and then when you want to select a new layer, again, hit the plus sign. Change the shade or tint of the color to what you want it to be, and then continue your painting. In this example, each layer of land is going to be on a different layer in Brushes. Be sure to utilize the size of the brush that you want it to be. No reason to use a tiny little brush to color in a large size. Because you're working on different layers, you can easily go back to a layer and work on it without affecting the layer that might be on top. So now I've selected layer number 4, and I can go back in and choose that color using the color picker. Just select it, hold your finger down, and you'll pick up that color. And I can fill in that little section there that's behind it. Change it all I want, and it's not going to affect the layer that is on top. You can also change those layers around. You can move them around by grabbing the 3 little dashes off to the right, and you can rearrange them. I have the canvas zoomed in a little bit so I can see all the edges. That's a good idea to make sure that you're at that so you can see all the edges and make sure you haven't missed any spot of your painting. Another thing along with the layers is you can really move the layers around and even hide and delete some of the layers. To move the layers around, remember, grab the three little handles, three little lines on the right, and you can move them around, shift them around, and see what it looks like when you move layers. You can also hide a layer completely by pushing on the eyeball. Click it again and it'll come back. When your painting's complete, you want to hit the share button up on the right and you want to add to your photos. There's so much more that brushes can do, so make sure to experiment and try out all the tools. Your students will love it. Now let's take a look at Sketchbook Express, another great free app that works with layers. For this example, we're going to be working with layers of images and what you can do on the images. The tools are all up the top for Sketchbook Express. You have lots of choices on different brush strokes, different mediums, eraser. You can change the size, the opacity, you can pick the color. So really make sure you play around with those different tools up there. There's a symmetry button. All the way in the corner, you will find the layers button. For the first example, we're going to choose an image from the library. So I'm going to go in my photo library and choose an image. And for this first example, I'd like to show you how to use this to help students learn about contour. They can help them draw different contour lines of an image. You could have them do part of an image and then color it in or paint it in. So I've added another layer and made sure that that one's selected. And then I can go back to my brush tools and just select a basic brush and change the size so it's nice and thin. And I'm just going to use black for this example. And then I can go back on that layer. Remember, I'm not exactly on the layer of the photo. I'm on the layer above it. And I can zoom in. Remember, you can pinch and zoom just by using your fingers. And I can zoom right in and follow the contour lines. And so I can just trace over parts of the girl. If I mess up, I can hit the back button. There's a little dot. Instead of just going up to the brush, there's a dot down in the bottom of your canvas there, a little circle. If you push that circle, the brush size and menu will come up in the middle. And you can learn to adjust your size and opacity of your brush by using that instead of always going up to the brush mark at the top. So this example, you can just kind of have students trace over different things to learn, like how the outlines and contours can go. And remember that we're painting on the top layer and not actually on the photo, so it's not doing anything to the photo underneath. Really use your zoom in, zoom out tools a lot when you're working with images. You can get in as close as you need to, and that really helps students to be able to, even with just their finger, if you don't have a stylus, using their finger, they'll be able to get really nice and close lines. So for this example, I've traced enough to kind of show you that idea. So then you can go back to the layers and you can hide the image layer by pushing the I button, and then you can see you have a drawing on the top. You can have students do this for many different reasons. You can explore the possibilities on that. For now, I'm going to go ahead and delete that drawing image so I can show you something else. The one thing that you can do with different images is you can use the eraser button to erase out the background so that you can add something else into it. So for this one, I've chosen the eraser tool, And I've used that little dot down the bottom, and you can see that that circle came up, and I was able to select what size I wanted the eraser to be. You can also do that at the brush direction at the top there. I can zoom in and zoom out, and when I get really close to an image, I'll zoom way in and slide that brush down to a very small size so I can get very detailed and go right up to the edge of it. And my goal is to erase everything in the background except for the girl. Zooming in, zooming out, adjusting the size. And if it's a very difficult image, it may take you a while to complete that part. For purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one and go back in to a canvas that I've already erased all the background so I can show you what to do with it. So I'm zooming in so I can make sure I see all the canvas, going to my layers button, and I'm going to add a new layer. I'm going to the flower button, and that's so I can go back to my photo library and I can pick an image. For this, it happens to be an artwork that the student has created. And I want to put that layer underneath the other layer because I want her to come up on top. So I rearranged them by grabbing those 3 bars and sliding it up. So now I have her on there, but I want to move her around a little bit. Oh, a little delete there. Back button works wonders. If I want to move the image of the girl around a little bit, I can hit the transform button and use the free transform button. There's some other choices there as well, and I can move her to exactly where I want her to go. Once I'm done, I can click done. And then for this example, I'm going to add a 3rd layer. Add another layer. And this time, I would like to add some text along with this layer. So this would be a great project to do a collage of the student work, an image of them, and then some text, maybe some poetry or words that are about the image, whatever they want. So when you want to add text, you just use the text button up there, and you have a big choice of what fonts you want, what colors you want. You can make them bigger and smaller. So there's lots of different ways to play around with the different text and color. To move the words around, and hit that transform button there. And if you choose free, you can move it as you want to. Couple different ways to move things around up there with that transform button. You've got a rotate button that'll allow you to rotate it. You can even go back and change the text color. So there's lots of customizing that you can do with that. After you've fiddled around with it and changed it all you want and added all you want to it, you can go back to the layers and you can see that they're in the right order. You can hide them, you can change them up, but for in this case, I want the text on top of the photo on top of the artwork. So when you're done, you like what you've done, you hit the gallery button to share it. That's those 4 squares up in the left top. Hit save, and it'll be put in your Sketchbook Express gallery. To share it from there, select it, hit the share button at the bottom, and hit your photo library. Select the orientation to make sure the picture's going the right way, and you'll be done. And again, there's lots of different things that you can do with Sketchbook Express. So make sure you experiment and try them all out.